I came home early on a Thursday because a client in Dallas canceled the meeting, and that call feels like the hinge life swung on. I am 52. My son Ryan is 18. He had turned 18 in May, 3 weeks before graduation. My fiancée Chloe was 31. Young compared to me, but not a child, not confused, not someone who did not understand what she was doing. Ryan was legally grown, but my son, the boy who left cereal bowls in his room and forgot gas money. Chloe was a grown woman who understood people. I was divorced for 7 years. Ryan lived with me after his mother moved 2 states away for work. She called and cared from a distance. But the daily part was mine. School forms, late rides, dentist visits, broken phones, college applications, quiet dinners where he stared at his phone and acted like my voice was background noise. Chloe came into my life at the worst possible time, which is why she felt like a miracle. I met her at a charity event for a hospital project my company had helped renovate. She worked donor relations. I own a small construction firm, and I had spent years as a father, boss, payer of bills, and emergency contact. Chloe made me feel wanted again. Ryan did not like her at first. He was polite, but stiff. He said she was too young for me. I told him 31 was not 21. He said that was not the point. I thought he was being protective or embarrassed. Kids think their parents stop being people once they hit 50. I told myself he would adjust. Ryan was going to leave for college at the end of summer. That was one reason I rushed. I did not want the house to go empty. Chloe made it feel alive. She bought curtains, changed towels, and got Ryan his favorite cereal without making a speech about it. Small things can look like love when you are hungry enough. We got engaged after 9 months. My sister said it was fast. Ryan said nothing when I told him. He stood at the kitchen counter holding a bowl and nodded like I had told him the weather. Chloe hugged him. He let her, but his arms stayed flat at his sides. I saw that and chose not to make it important because I wanted the engagement to feel happy. The week it happened, I was supposed to be in Dallas from Wednesday through Friday. Ryan was home. Chloe said she had vendor calls and dress fittings. She kissed me at the airport like she would miss me. Ryan sent a thumbs up when I reminded him about the trash. Normal things, boring things, things I now remember with too much detail. The client canceled Thursday morning. I changed my flight and decided not to tell anyone because I wanted to surprise Chloe. I stopped for wine and flowers. I pulled into the driveway around 4. Ryan's car was there. Chloe's car was there. The house looked normal. Inside, I heard music upstairs. Low. Chloe's black heels were by the stairs. A glass of water sat on the entry table with lipstick on the rim. My bedroom door was closed. I walked up the stairs holding the wine bag. The bottle knocked against the banister. I remember thinking there had to be some reason. Maybe she was changing. Maybe Ryan was helping move something. Maybe I was already being unfair. Then I heard Ryan say her name. Not loud, not playful, soft, scared almost. I opened the door. They were together in my room in a way no father should ever have to translate. Nothing graphic needs to be said. Chloe was wearing one of my shirts. Ryan looked like he had been slapped by the sight of me before I even spoke. The engagement ring I'd bought her was on my dresser beside my watch. Nobody moved for a few seconds. Chloe said my name first. Ryan tried to stand and almost tripped. I put the wine bag on the floor because I was afraid I would throw it. Then I told them both to get dressed and come downstairs. I sat at the kitchen table while they moved around above me. The house made normal sounds, pipes, a drawer. Footsteps. I stared at the refrigerator where Chloe had pinned a wedding checklist with a lemon magnet. It looked obscene suddenly, like a joke someone had taken too far. Chloe came down first in jeans and a sweater. She looked pale but not broken. Ryan came after her wearing an old shirt, hair messy, eyes red. He looked 18. That was the worst part. He was legally grown, yes, but he looked like my kid. Chloe started talking before he did. She said it was a mistake. She said it only happened once. She said she had been lonely because I worked too much, and Ryan had been struggling, and she was only trying to comfort him. She said it got out of hand. She said she loved me. It sounded rehearsed, even while she cried. Ryan said nothing. He stared at the table. I asked how long. Chloe said, "Today." Ryan closed his eyes. That told me enough. I asked again, not louder. "Just how long?" Ryan said, 3 weeks. Chloe turned on him so fast it was like watching a mask slip. She told him to stop. She said he was confused. She said he was making it sound worse. She said he did not understand adult consequences. 3 weeks. Maybe more, depending on what you count. It started with her checking on him after I went to sleep. That was Ryan's version later. He had been stressed about college, leaving home, and me getting remarried. Chloe told him she felt alone too. She told him I treated her like a beautiful solution to my empty house, not a person. She told him he was mature for his age. That phrase should be banned from the mouths of adults who know exactly what they are doing. Then came late messages, kitchen talks, and her telling him not to tell me because I would misunderstand. I did not learn all that in the kitchen. That came later. In the moment, I only knew the woman I planned to marry had been in my bedroom with my son, and the room had wedding invitations stacked on the counter. I told Chloe to pack a bag. She said I was overreacting. Then she said I could not throw her out because she lived there. Then she said she had rights. Then she softened again and said we should not destroy everything over one horrible mistake. I told her she could take what she needed for a week, and I would arrange the rest later. Then I told Ryan to pack a bag too. I had not planned to say it like that. It came out flat, almost businesslike. I told him he could stay with his mother, or with my sister, or anywhere else for a while, but he was not sleeping under my roof that night. I needed space. I needed air. I needed not to pass either one of them in the hallway. Ryan looked at me like I had hit him before I ever touched him. He said I was choosing Chloe even now. I told him not to twist this. I told him she was leaving too. He said I had already thrown him out months ago. He said I brought Chloe into our house and let her take his place. He said I cared more about feeling young than noticing my own son. Some of it hit me because some of it was true. Not enough to excuse him. Not enough to excuse what I had just seen, but enough to slow my answer by 1 second. That 1 second did not save us. I told him to go upstairs and pack. He stood up too fast. The chair scraped the kitchen floor. Chloe told him to calm down, which was rich coming from the person who had helped set fire to the room. Ryan told her to shut up, then turned back to me with a face I had never seen on him before. Not just guilt, not just fear. Hate, maybe. He moved toward me fast, not like a movie fight. More like a scared, furious kid who had run out of words. He shoved me first, hard enough that my hip hit the counter. Then his hand caught my face. It shocked me more than it hurt. I reacted before I thought. I pushed him away. That sentence has lived in my head since. I pushed him away. Not punched, not grabbed, just pushed him away. But I was angry, and I am still a strong man, and he was off balance, and there was a stupid little runner rug near the hallway that I had told Chloe to throw out twice. Ryan stumbled back. His heel caught the rug. His body turned sideways. He hit the edge of the hallway table and went down hard near the stairs. The sound changed everything. The whole house went dead quiet for half a second. Chloe screamed first. I remember hating the sound of her voice even while I was already moving. Ryan was on the floor trying to breathe through pain, and suddenly he was not the son who had betrayed me. He was my son, my child. The boy I had carried half asleep from the car when he was 6. I dropped beside him and said his name over and over, like repetition could undo gravity. He tried to sit up and made a sound that I still hear when I wake up too early. I told him not to move. My hands shook so badly I could barely unlock my phone. I called 911 and could not explain it cleanly. I said my son fell. Then I said we fought. Then I said he hit me first and I pushed him. Every version sounded like a lie because every version was missing the part where I had lost control for 1 second. The ambulance came fast and still not fast enough. My sister arrived. That part has holes. I remember red lights on the windows. I remember a paramedic asking what happened. I remember saying the truth in pieces because the whole thing was too ugly to hold in one sentence. Ryan had a concussion, a fractured wrist, and a back injury that kept him in the hospital far longer than anyone first expected. There was surgery, pain management, and doctors using careful words. They said he would recover, but not quickly. They said he was lucky. Lucky is a cruel word when your son is lying in a hospital bed because your hands pushed him. That was when my mind split in two, and both halves hated each other. One half of me kept saying he betrayed you. He knew what he was doing. He was 18, not a little boy. He was in your bedroom with the woman you planned to marry. He lied for weeks. He hit you first. He brought this into your house and then raised his hand when you told him to leave. The other half of me could not stop seeing him in that hospital bed, his wrist wrapped, his face pale, his body too still under the blanket, nurses moving around him like he was breakable now. My son, who had walked down my stairs angry and ashamed, was now lying there because I pushed him harder than I meant to. I kept trying to find the clean place to stand, but there was none. If I called him the victim, I felt like I was erasing what he did to me. If I called myself the victim, I had to ignore the fact that my hands had put him in that bed. If I blamed Chloe for everything, I was lying to myself too, because she did not shove him. I did. I would sit in the hospital parking lot with both hands on the steering wheel and argue with myself until my head hurt. He hit me first. You are his father. He betrayed you. You hurt him. He knew better. So did you. That was the loop. No answer. No peace. I hated him some minutes. I will not pretend I did not. I hated the secrecy. I hated the bedroom. I hated the look on his face when I opened the door, like he was sorry only because he had been caught. I hated that he let Chloe make him feel special at my expense. Then I would walk into his hospital room and see him sleeping with a brace on his body, and all that hate would collapse into fear so fast it almost made me dizzy. Under all of it, he was still Ryan. He was still the boy who used to fall asleep in the car and pretend he was awake so I would carry him inside. He was still my son even after doing something I did not know how to forgive. And I was still the father who had hurt him. I could explain it. I could say he attacked me first. I could say I reacted. I could say I never meant for him to fall. All of that was true. But every explanation still ended in the same place. My son was in the hospital because I put my hands on him and pushed. Chloe tried to use the hospital to stay close. She told a nurse she was family. She told me Ryan needed all of us calm. I looked at her and realized she was already arranging the next version of events. In her version, I was the violent older man, Ryan was confused, and she was trapped in the middle. Ryan's mother flew in the next morning. I had to call her and say the sentence no parent wants to say. Our son is in the hospital. He is stable. I pushed him during a fight. I am so sorry. She went quiet, then asked what fight. I told her enough. Not everything. Enough to make her voice change. The police spoke to me because hospital staff had questions. I told the truth. Ryan had struck me first. I pushed him away. I did not intend for him to fall. I did not intend to hurt him. The officer wrote things down and looked tired in the way people look when they see families destroy themselves for a living. I called a lawyer that afternoon. That sounds cold, but fear makes you practical. Chloe had already sent messages saying she was scared of what I might do when I lost control. She wrote it like concern, but it read like groundwork. She said Ryan needed protection from my anger. She said she would tell the truth if asked, but she hoped I would not force that. The truth. People say that word like it comes in one piece. Chloe crossed a line with my barely adult son. Ryan betrayed me and then hit me when I told him to leave. I pushed him harder than I meant to. His body paid for that 1 second in a way none of us could undo. That night, I changed the alarm code, the door locks, my bank passwords, and every shared subscription I could remember. I canceled the wedding planner's next payment. I called the venue in the morning. I emailed vendors one sentence. The wedding is canceled due to a private family matter. Please send final invoices to me directly. Chloe sent messages all night. Voice notes. Photos of herself, crying. Angry paragraphs. Apologies. She said she made a mistake because she was scared of marrying a man who did not let her in. I did not answer. By the next afternoon, she texted Ryan and told him she was scared of me. She told him he had to stand up for what happened. She told him I would use money to control both of them. My lawyer told me not to speak to her alone. He told me to preserve messages. He told me to make an inventory of property. He told me the house was mine, the engagement did not give her ownership, and I could arrange a civil pickup of her belongings. The pickup happened with my sister and a deputy present. Chloe arrived wearing sunglasses and looking ready to be seen suffering. She asked to speak to me privately. I said no. She asked to see Ryan. I said that was up to his mother and his doctors. My sister told her to get her boxes. In the end, I sent one private email to close family and people involved in the wedding. It said the engagement was over because Chloe had an inappropriate relationship with my 18-year-old son while living in my home. It said an argument followed. Ryan struck me first. I pushed him away, and he was seriously injured. It said I would not discuss details publicly. That email spread because of course it did. Chloe's vague post made more sense to people. Then the story became town gossip. He did not want to see me at first. I understood that. I sent short messages through his mother. I love you. I am sorry I pushed you. I am still angry, but I love you. She later admitted he read every one. No charge came in the end. Ryan confirmed he hit me first. The evidence matched a shove during a fight, not an attack. Chloe's version had too many soft edges and not enough facts. People acted like that should make me feel relieved. Not being charged does not make your son stand up faster. The first time Ryan agreed to see me, he was thinner. His wrist was wrapped. He had pillows around him like the bed was trying to hold him together. I stood near the door because I did not know if I had earned the right to sit. He said, I hit you. I said, I know. He said, you pushed me. I said, I know. He said, I thought you were choosing her over me. I almost said he had no right to talk about choices after what he did. Instead, I said, I think I chose not to see a lot of things because I was lonely. He cried then, quietly. I cried too, and it was awful because neither of us deserved the clean feeling people expect from tears. He told me more over the next weeks. Chloe started with small confidences. She said I did not really listen to her. She asked about money, prenups, life insurance. She made him feel grown. She made him feel necessary. He liked it. He knew it was wrong. Both were true. He said the first time something crossed the line, he thought it would stop there. Then he felt special. Then guilty. Then trapped. Then angry at me because blaming me was easier than admitting he had helped betray me. That was the most honest thing he said. I told him I was still angry. I told him there would be consequences, but not abandonment. I told him I should never have pushed him that hard. He said he should never have hit me. We sat with that like two men holding broken glass. Months passed. The wedding date came and went. I spent that weekend repainting the garage alone because I could not sit inside the house. Chloe's plants died. I threw away the gray towels. I sold the bed and slept in the guest room for a month. Ryan stayed with his mother through the first semester of college. Rehab was near her apartment, and honestly, I think he needed distance from me as much as he needed physical therapy. We talked twice a week. Sometimes it was normal. Sometimes I heard a pause and knew we both stepped near the same hole. I keep finding evidence that nothing explodes all at once. It leaks into drawers, calendars, laundry, walls, and the places where you thought your life was boring enough to be safe. Chloe moved to another city. At least that is what I heard. She sent one long email saying she hoped Ryan and I found healing, and that she hoped I accepted responsibility for my violence. That line was true enough to hurt and incomplete enough to be poison. Here is the part I hate most. The moment I opened that bedroom door, I wanted Chloe to be the only villain. It would have been easier. Real life did not give me that. Chloe crossed a line that should have ended the first time she felt it under her foot. Ryan betrayed me. I ignored signs because I liked feeling wanted. I rushed a marriage because I was scared of an empty house. None of that makes what they did okay. It just makes the damage more honest. People kept trying to sort it into clean boxes. Ryan betrayed me. Chloe manipulated him. I defended myself. He hit first. I pushed once. It was an accident. All of that sounded reasonable when someone else said it. But I did not live inside a reasonable sentence. I lived inside the sound of his fall. I lived inside the sight of him trying to move and failing. I lived inside the fact that I could be right about the betrayal and still wrong forever about that 1 second. If you are 50 or older and lonely, be careful with anyone who makes you feel young too fast. If your kid is 18, do not let the law trick you into thinking they are fully built. And if betrayal puts you in a room where rage feels clean, leave if you can. 1 second can become a hospital bed and a question you ask yourself for the rest of your life. I still see the ring on the dresser sometimes. Not literally. I gave it back to the jeweler for less than half what I paid, which felt about right. But in my head, I see it there beside my watch. The future I thought I was buying and the time I had already lost. I do not know what forgiveness will look like. I know Ryan is still my son. I know Chloe is not my future. I know my house is quieter now, but at least the quiet belongs to me. That is where I am. Not healed, not destroyed, just living in the after part, trying to make sure the worst thing I walked in on does not become the only thing left of us.